Last year alone, Renault had sold more than 2.5 million cars. Over the years, they've won 23 titles in Formula 1. That's 6 more titles than Mercedes. But other than being the 16th biggest car manufacturer in the world or a championship winning team in Formula 1, Renault has a whole different meaning for me. Renault for me means home, and it all started in 1980. In 1980, Renault came with the first generation of this car. In 1997, they came with the second generation, but being a more popular frame for ambulances. In 2010, they came with the third generation, this generation, selling more than 124,000 units in 2019, being the biggest van manufacturer in Europe for the 5th consecutive year in a row. In 2021, I bought myself one. Of course, I'm talking about the Renault Master.
We're inside the van now. I'll drop the English act. It's probably the worst imitation of Top Gear you've ever seen, but I don't know. In my head, it was quite funny. I will go around in the van, showing you everything that I made or redone since the actual episodes. If you want to see how it's made, you just go to one of these links on top here. They'll just pop in every now and then, telling you what's what. I'm just gonna go over what I have now and yeah, basically what the use is. Okay. So this is my water setup. On the left side, you have a jerry can of clean water, and on the right side you have dirty water. I've written on the front which is which, but since I've used it for a while and I haven't cleaned the dirty one since, well, it's dirty water anyway, it's got a bit moldy. So I feel like it's quite obvious which is which. So the way my water system works is it gets sucked up from the clean jerry can by this 12-volt pump. It's then pumped into this pressure chamber, which is constantly under pressure. And as the water is pumped in, there's like a little wall in the pressure chamber, which gets pumped up. And then because it's constantly under pressure, it then pumps down the water again. Which means that if there's any irregular water flow, this pressure chamber will regulate it. So the water flow will always be constant, which is a nice idea. This is my cooking setup. It has 3 stoves, 2 big ones and 1 small one. It's basically just a regular camping stove, but then I bolted it through the countertop Not much to say. I don't need a lighter to light it. I just have this. It works on batteries, so once the battery dies, I need to get a new one. But got my cooking clock. It's magnetic. I didn't know that. I always kept it in my drawer, and then one day I just put it on there. It just stuck. So since then, this is his home. On top we have a small cabinet. It does need some finishing touches. Like the other day I filled in all the holes, but I haven't landed on what color I wanted to paint. So that's why it's now, I don't know, in its purest nature. Okay, in here on the left side we have glasses. I keep them locked with like a little wooden slat in between. Push them against each other and then sort of pressure it down so it's locked. It's a bit empty looking now, but when I'm on the road, this is usually filled up. As you can see, I also have these glass jars, which is somewhat of a nice idea. I have seen other people use it, but for me, I don't really have that many spices or other things to put into. And with the salt one, it already fell down once from the left one. It sort of screwed itself loose and then fell, which left salt everywhere. As you can see over here, it's already starting to rip. So that one might need to just go. Down here is where I keep my cutlery, in this big drawer. It's made on accident, but it actually worked out fine, or really well. The bottom of the drawer is slightly lower than the plank in front of it, which means it locks itself. So what I have to do is I basically have to lift it up a bit, and then it's an easy pull, which is somewhat of a accidentally luck. I don't know, it's basically luck. Like, I hadn't designed it that way, but it is. On to the next thing is my table, which in fact does move while driving. It usually goes out like this, and then the weight of the plank pushes down, and then it stays like this during the whole drive. So it's not constantly like going in and out. No, it'll go out and then stays like this for basically the whole drive, which I don't really mind. First you pull out the table, and then it stops. I put a lock on the back end of the table, and then you lift it up slightly, and then underneath you can pull this thing, which then supports the table. I wouldn't put my whole weight on it, but then again, who does on a table? So if somebody wants to sit somewhere and that's not on the couch, they can sit on the countertop, but they can't sit on this. But yeah, this is the table. I have used it quite a few times. I eat on this, put my laptop on here, and then I just watch something on the laptop. Now every kitchen obviously needs a fridge, and mine, let me just get this out of the way, and mine is in here. As you can see, there's 2 holes on the doors. These holes are quite essential since the fridge itself has handles which stick out, and this is the length of the fridge, and these are holes for the handles. You can just pull it out like this. Because it's a bit higher than the floor itself, as soon as the weight falls over it, it sort of leans forward and it's now on the floor, which is, I don't know, I feel like it's a nice touch. You can open it like this. This will stay like this. This fridge has not let me down whatsoever. There's a little control panel over here where you can adjust the cold. The cool thing about this one, and that's why I feel like you should always go for a van fridge, is these kind of fridges are made for bumping and rocking. So if you were to put your normal fridge on a slight angle and put it back again, you can't use it for a while. You need to unplug it and then let it sit, and then you can plug it in again, because you can actually wreck the fridge itself. I'm not quite sure how it works, but I believe like even if you put your fridge on the side for maybe 10 minutes and then you put it back up again, something with the fluids, I believe, is just, well, buggered. And that's where these specializes. They can rock and bump and do whatever, and yeah, it's been on bumpy roads a lot, and it works like a charm still. So putting it back, same principle, lift it up, push it in, and Bob's your uncle. 2 magnets on the floor, which just hold the door. As you can see, they're not the strongest, so, but yeah, for driving it's perfectly, and you don't have to rip your nails opening it. It just whoop. As you can see, this is where the biggest change actually came into the van after I built it. I've been on the road with the van, and I quickly found out that the bed was actually, well, I wouldn't say too big, but it would make sure that I wasn't using this space, which in a van is extremely important. Like you need to use or make as much of the space you have livable, so the van seems as roomy as it can get. Also, what I noticed is, and that's why I'm purposely filming in towards light, is having the bed this way makes so much of the light come in. Like all of a sudden I have 2 big windows which bring in light that I didn't have before. That would be this big black, well, sort of sun blocker. Yeah, that just wasn't working for me. The van was too dark. I always had to put the light on. I'm putting the light on now for filming, but for me this is more than fine, even when I put the door open, the sliding door, and it's really light in the van compared to what it used to be. Plus, since I'm not as much of a big boy, this is actually now an option for me to just chill on. So for me, this just feels huge. Even laying the other way around, I can put my feet up on the countertop, and now I just have this whole part of the van where I can read a book or edit if I were to sit up somewhat straight. If I were to sit up somewhat straight, I can just sit here with my laptop and just do some editing. I don't know, I feel like the way I built my bed now, yeah, it's such a big change. It gives so much more living room. Basically, I wasn't using half of the van, where now I have the opportunity to use half of the van. It doesn't take too long to set up. Basically what I do from the start is I pull on the bottom of the bed. Which pulls out the frame of the bed. Then you have this pipe that came out of the kitchen block. Underneath here I can just put it in, and now basically all that's left to do is pull my bed back, until it's up here. And now it already sort of falls from itself once you come off it. It just slides. And now if I want to clean up the bed, I basically reverse the process. Underneath here is a big storage. Basically all my stuff. So yeah, there's a big storage place for stuff. On this side you have the same principle. Instead of folding it open this way, it folds open this way, and that gives you more space. It just stays like this. Because the weight of the plank is over this point and it falls to the left, it keeps this cushion in place and everything is just, yeah, nicely tucked away. And if it's tucked away, there's room for le toilet. The toilet itself is a very easy pull out. There used to be a handle on the bottom of the toilet, but since I stood on it, it broke off. So the toilet does need some fixing. As you can see, you have these two little hinges, I believe they're called. And I can pull on these straps, pull it forward, and then voila, here's the toilet. Pull this open and you can just do your business. There's not really much to it. I just build a frame, put some wood against it. It's not up to here, it's way down here, so you can just stack clothes and they won't fall out. As you can see here, like this has just been in for so long and it's not fallen out yet. Closet, really simple design. With the bed now being this way, as flat, I can always access my clothes, which in the past was a problem. I always had to jam my hand in the side and then just sort of feel and guess which clothing piece I was getting. Well, now if I want a t-shirt, I can just grab a t-shirt. If I want shorts, then I have my shorts. So this is the garage of the van. As you can see, it fits a bike. It's a mountain bike, 26-inch wheels. I'm not quite sure how long it is, but it fits me. Yeah, I wanted to have a bike here, so if I wanted to bike or cycle, then I have the possibility to do so. I just don't want to hike everywhere. There's some more storage for clothes back here. In the back you can see my cable for when I'm on a campsite. I can use that cable to charge the fan. Here's some sawdust for the toilet. This bag I've had for quite a while now. Back here, this is the toilet, or the housing at least of the toilet. There's a chair. In here is just more cycling stuff and camping stuff. So yeah, everywhere I just made little places where you can fit stuff. In here is basically the brain of the vehicle. This is an 800 watts, I believe, inverter. Over here is my 12-volt switch. If I switch this, my 12-volt system goes off. That basically kills the water pump and the lights for when I'm not camping or when I'm not doing anything in the van. I can just switch it off. Over here, all I have to do is flick this switch towards me. You can see it thinking for a bit, and then it just goes on. Okay, so that was the inside of the van. It's cozy, yet it feels roomy. It has everything in hand's reach. Everything up till now has been working wonderfully. Nothing really broke except for the drawer. That one broke during a trip. Granted, it didn't break because it was being used gently. It broke because no, it wasn't used gently, so that's why it broke. But yeah, that's the whole van. Don't know the prices of stuff out of my head. I do know what it's like, or what the total cost was, but I'll just cover that in the next video, or like in a different video. I'll just grab everything with me. I still have all the receipts, I believe, so I'll just count everything up, show you what I paid for what product, maybe tell you where you can go budget or where you can spend extra money and basically save yourself some hassle. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you are as happy with the inside of the van as I am. I think it's a wonderful build, and yeah, I've already gone on one adventure. I'm definitely gonna go on more. It's been a pleasure traveling in this van. So this was the van tour. If you like what you see and you're wondering how I made everything, you could just watch the playlist back. There you'll see from day one up to here how I made everything. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel. I promise there is much more to come. Currently I'm working on a few projects, so yeah, subscribe to stay tuned and like the video. It helps out. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.